Hello and welcome to today's LOL Esports Roundup, where we're going to cover the games that took place in the LPL and LCK this morning and preview tomorrow's LPL schedule. Just a little thing, Forsland, a member in our Discord, won a big tournament in Sweden this past weekend for in esports, so we'd like to congratulate them on doing so. It's fun to have some people that play competitively in the Discord and also do very well. So, congratulations to them. Now for the recap. 5-0 in predictions, 35-11 on the split. Went 19-1 the last 4 days. I don't think that's going to continue, but I do appreciate that individual that donated a sizable sum on my members only video. Thank you very much for that from yesterday. So recap: LCK, DRX, and D+. DRX now 0-2 as they fall 2-1. DRX now 0-2 as they fall 1-2 against D+. D+ are 8th in the power rankings, 2-0. Canyon was MVP. Deft, 25-5-16, 37% of damage at 80 carry. Kellen alongside him, 5-4-33, so the bot lane went 39-49. Paddock, 6-6-12, 39% of damage in the losses. Paddock tried very hard at times throughout the series to stay alive, and he did do a pretty decent job of that, obviously 6 deaths. Didn't solo win game 2, but took the Elder in a fight that, D+ should have won. D+ were definitely in a position to win that entire game. They had taken Soul, put themselves in a really good position, but Paddock was able to secure the Elder, and that won them that fight. That would then lead to them winning game 2. Rascal also played excellent on the Jax in this one in games 2 and 3. Very, very impactful. If only, Kiehu or Yehu in mid did more. If Krakow could do a thing or two, that would have made things better. As far as D+ is concerned, why Canyon was MVP. Game 3, I thought Canyon's Viego got D+ the lead in the bot lane, which Deft then carried on Zeri. A lot of people, see a KDA and 13 kills or whatever and think it was all Deft. If Canyon doesn't go down there in the first place, maybe we don't get there, right? So Canyon emphasizing going to bot lane, getting them ahead was important. He also played Scion jungle in game 1 for a win, and honestly, when a player does something like that, goes out of the box, plays a champion that no one else has really played in that role in, I think they said, over 2,200 days. We're gonna give them their credit. So Canyon for that is MVP as well. Game 2, he was able to find some plays. Showmaker looked good. Kana just was a meatball. Kellen looked good at times. He died less than he had kills, which is always nice out of your support. Even though you don't want your support to steal kills, your support finding a way to stay alive is always nice. A lot of times they end up with double-digit deaths in a 3-game series and things like that. So D+ win 2-1. DRX gave him a run, though. That is for sure. D+ grow from this. This is good. Obviously, an experienced team outside of Kellen, but sometimes you need that reality check of oh, okay, we still have stuff we have to work on. And going to 3 games against DRX and game 3 actually being kind of close will wake you up sometimes. After that, we had Genji and T1. Genji win 2-1. They're 2-0. T1 1-1. Genji were 5th in the power rankings, T1 first. Obviously, that's going to change. Power rankings will come out later tonight. Due to my work schedule, power rankings are going to be coming out relatively randomly in the early parts of the week, depending on when I can find time to put them out. Pays 16-6-10, 30% of damage, was MVP. He had a penta in game 3, and if you know me and you're not new to the channel, pentas mean automatic MVP. Delight 4-5-27 at support, so the bot lane went 20, 11, and 37. Gumiyushi 16-6-10, 35% of damage in the loss. We saw Owner play Jax jungle. I also give that a lot of credit, just like Sion for Canyon. However, Owner didn't win, so he's not going to be MVP, and he certainly didn't get a Penta, so he's not MVP. And yeah, so T1, the drafts continue to puzzle me. I'm saying it. You know, during my Hall of Fame stuff, by the way, the fourth class second round is occurring. Pick 6 of 15 to be in the fourth class of the Hall of Fame. Bangy, I felt like his career ended short because he struggled to adapt to how the game changed. Looking at stats and looking at things like that. Which is why he was constantly, you know, why Blank came in and things like that, right? And then I think to myself, since Worlds, like Worlds, it was okay for Bangy not to like adapt in draft, right? He had only been a coach of the academy team before then. He really, I mean, just being thrusted right into the coaching role at Worlds is a lot, right? And to finish second place is impressive, given that. And then in spring, it's like, okay, we're not really fixing the issues that we had before. MSI really didn't fix those. Summer, we haven't fixed those. The same draft issues are occurring. There's no adaptation here. So, excuse me, seeing Draven, I hate the Draven pick. I say it all the time. You know, we talked about in the Discord this morning, Jackie Love has a 74% win rate on Draven in 23 games. Respectable. You could argue that's consistent. Now, sorry, got something in my throat there. I don't see Draven as a consistent option in bot lane, especially in Desiri. I think it's a silly, silly pick. You are flipping a coin. Now, both teams decided to flip it. T1 had to twice. They picked Draven twice. Not only that, Gen G tried to give over Zeri in one of the games as well, picking Melio first, allowing Zeri up. T1 did not take it. Why? I mean, people say it's the Yumi, this, that, and the third. I do not agree with people saying, well, Zeri's broken, it's game-breaking, this and that. And it's like, well, then ban it. Yeah, but there's other things that, okay, well, then evidently it's not as game-breaking as you want to claim it to be, because there's other champions that also need bans. And what's the percentage of champions that you need to be ban-worthy for nothing to be truly broken? Some people would suggest that would be all the champions, but that's not a thing, right? That's not viable. So, what would be truly broken versus what isn't, like, ban it if you can't play against it. Certainly don't give it over if you can't play against it. Now, this series, Pays did work, gets the Penta in game 3 on that, Zeri, and, I mean, wins, right? Chovy found good opportunities to make plays as a facilitator, more so than Faker did, in my opinion. Doran had some really good moments. Game 1, I thought he had a case to be MVP, despite struggling in lane for a moment. Got solo killed by Zeus later on in the series as well, but I thought that he did well in games 1 and 3. Game 2 with Cal, that was ugly. The Cal pick is very bait so far. The players we've seen play Cal are no slouches, and they still are struggling. So maybe Cal is not a viable pick in the top lane. Jungle-wise, like I said, Owner played Jax. Peanut did his job, which is fine, right? Facilitator, he was on Maokai, make things happen, use your grasp. I'm not expecting anything else out of him. That's fine. So, Gen G played to their strengths in Game 3. They played a composition that made sense, that's worked for them, where T1 are playing things that make me say, you know what the hell's going on here? Keria on Blitzcrank looked really good. T1 had a massive lead in Game 3, but the Zeri came online, and in the end, that's what the difference was. You know, that was the last of these 5 games, and I didn't want to say, well, this was last. It's the 4th of 5 games, and now it's 3-0. And I'm thinking to myself, I do not want to say anything about T1 possibly, Gen G possibly coming back in this one. The Zeri moment, they're down so much gold, but it ended up happening, right? They found an opportunity. They hit on it. Pays did what he had to do. And, so Gen G win 2-1 against T1. LPL recap, FPX, LNG. FPX now 1-3, LNG 3-2, third in the power rankings. They went 2-1. Tarzan was my MVP. Gala 21-5-16, 35% of damage at 80 carry. Scout 3-3-30. LWX in the loss 13-8-10 with a sizable 40% of damage for FPX. So, I thought Tarzan looked excellent in games 2 and 3. I thought Scout was pretty much responsible for their win in game 1. And with that in mind, I ended up giving it to Tarzan because in the loss, he found a way to be more impactful than Scout. Thought Gala benefited from the leads that his teammates got for him. Scout in game 1, very high KP in the early game, finding opportunities to go bot lane, get them ahead. That's a big deal for a mid laner, finding, plays. Care, on the opposite side, couldn't really follow up on the Ahri. In team fights, I see Care look very good on the Ahri, though, and it gives me hope that player, he has potential going forward, and I've thought that for a little while. And he continues to show those flashes, and it's like, man, if he was on, if he had a better jungler alongside him, I'd wonder how much growth he could have. I think that he actually looks very good at times. On that champion specifically, he looked excellent in team fights in this series. As far as top lane's concerned, Jalahu and Zika, kind of a wash. Bot lane, obviously, Galahung got the better of LWX and Chow Chow, especially in team fights, in part because Scout went bot lane, and then Tarzan as well, and the Viego was disgusting. I think that is Tarzan's best champion, is the Viego. He just ends up taking souls and doing well on those other champions as well. He's an excellent player. One of the best junglers in the world. Just did a ton of work today. Obviously they did lose a game, but LNG are definitely working out some things, right? So mid jungle duo continue to carry for LNG. Bot lane has a nice KDA. Top lane is on an island, kind of just doing their thing. And FPX has no answer. I am wondering how long it is before Bonnie plays at jungle in place of Hacker. I think that should happen. Whether it does or not remains to be seen. Rare Adam and LGD. Rare Adam now 2-2, LGD 0-5. Zhaozhu was MVP in the revenge game. They win 2-1. Asum 18-10-12, 37% of damage at 80 carry. Layan 8-3-15 in the win. Envy 6-12-13 in the loss, 29% of damage for LGD. It was ugly for LGD. Game 1, Meteors on Kindred, and that goes very well for them. Hai Chao also looked excellent in that one. Strive struggling. I thought Asum and Feather actually had a very good claim to be MVP, I thought, throughout this series. But in the end, I did end up giving it to Zhaozhu. I thought his K-Sante in games 1 and 2 was good. And I thought in game 3, his Malphite ulti towards the end of the game was really important to seal the deal. Before that, he really hadn't done much, so that is what it is. But when I thought about it, I ended up giving it to Feather. Because there were times the bot lane of Asum and Feather really got caught out. A lot of trades 1-for-1. A lot of situations they found themselves in under turret being dove, and maybe that's a little bit self-inflicted. You do give them credit for finding an opportunity to trade 1-for-1 in that situation, but at the same time, I do wonder if they're struggling in lane a bit to Envy and Jin Zhao. Team fight wise, obviously, LGD did not look that great. Envy, that KDA is ugly, and if it wasn't for stealing a Drake, maybe that's even worse. Meteor does work, Hai Chao does work, but they couldn't match what Rare Adam were doing. I mean, I don't even think Layan was all that, his KDA is great. He found opportunities to make plays, but I didn't feel he was as important as Zhaozhu or even Feather in this one. Because Feather on the Rakan looked excellent. He really did. His best series by far thus far, and hell, it's against LGD who are 0-5. Not a shocker. When I did see this, though, I thought to myself, Envy is without Kale now, and Envy is struggling. Kale doing fine with Teddy. I say it all the time when I talk about Live Sandbox. I think Kale is, and I said in my top 5 supports, I think he's one of the best supports in the world. He's extremely young. There is a case to be made that one day he could be the best in the world. Outright. He's excellent. So, Envy on Struggle Street now. He found a job with LGD, and, you know, he's getting paid, I guess, right? Possibly. Last series, Top Esports and Weibo. Top 4-1, 7th in the power rankings. Weibo 9th at 2-2. Weibo would lose. Top win 2-1. Rookie was my MVP. Jackie Love 17-4, 12, 34% of damage in the win. Wayward had the best KDA at 4-3-22. Light led Weibo in damage, 9-6-10, 29%. So Rookie in game 2 solo killed Jiaohu. Nico versus Talia. That was nice. That made me want to think that he was MVP for game 2. He also found opportunities to affect team fights. Seriously affect team fights. And then in game 3, he was very, very good in team fights, ending up with double-digit kills. So in the end, I ended up going with Rookie. Game 1 was back and forth, which made me feel good about Top Esports. And I've thought about this throughout the split. They have been having to play like tough series. There hasn't been like really cleanliness to everything, and like I said, that's a good thing, but also I guess it could be a bad thing. Slight inconsistencies, but they're also getting their issues out of the way now. A lot of people thought Tian played very well in game 2. I thought he was fine, more impactful than Weiwei. The Shy hinted a bit in this one. Wayward found opportunities to be more influential in the game. Bot lane, Jackie Love and Mark versus Light and Crisp. Mark in game 1 on the Pike. Very mixed results. I thought in team fights or in the early to mid game, he found ways to like really, really get after it. But then, in the mid to late game, it just kind of went away, and Weibo were able to find opportunities. And to come back in the game and then win it. As far as Light and Crisp, I think Crisp has looked good this split. I think Light has looked good this split. We had some talks on the Discord about that this morning during the series. Some people, it's the Jiaohu versus Light thing. And I think, Jiaohu got solo killed by Rookie. Light, sometimes he does get caught out. I'm not going to deny that. There were some times in this one where I think actually Mark's Nautilus in game 3 I thought was like, honestly, so I picked Rookie as MVP, but I really considered Mark's Nautilus for how many hooks he hit in team fights. There was one hook against Light in front of I think it may have even been before Baron, and we were looking at Rift Herald topside River, and he found a hook onto Light that was like, so close, like almost wrapping around a player to get there. And that won that team fight and actually sprung top to get a couple thousand gold lead. And then they would kind of go from there. So I did debate on going with Mark, but I thought Rookie ended up getting it. So top win, 2-1. Weibo, coin flip team. That is what it is. Sneak peek for tomorrow, LPL, Ultra Prime 24th in the power rankings at 2-2. Thunder Talk 1-3. Last time these teams were on the Rift, Ultra Prime lost to BLG. Almost sneezed there for a second. Thunder Talk lost to Top Esports. The last time these two teams crossed paths, Thunder Talk won 2-1 in spring. Only the top jungles remain the same. As far as the other matchups, Ultra Prime no longer have Ching. They have Forge in mid. And then bot lane is different. We have Doggo and Sword Art for Ultra Prime against 1XN and Yao Yao. So a different bot lane matchup. So Hoya Bechuan for Thunder Talk went 21-13-39. Sorry, 21-15-39 in the win. 942 DPM, 39%. Harry and Ning went 10-21-24. 860 DPM, 39% in the loss. So, in my opinion, looking at this, you could draw some conclusions and say mid and bot was the difference maker. Damage shares are similar. Top lane affected fights in a similar amount. Even the DPM is within 100 of each other. So, I expect it to maybe be a wash in the top side of the Rift again. BLG and Anyone's Legend. BLG 4th in the power rankings, 4-0, coming off of the win against Ultra Prime. Anyone's Legend 1-3, coming off of a loss against NIP. Last time these two teams played, BLG would win 2-1. Changes. Anyone's Legend's bot lane is now, for this one, GQE and Zora. Last time it was Betty and Sword Art. So Bin Shun Yagao went 23, 16, 59 for 1,740 DPM, 56% of BLG's damage in the win. ZDZ Zhao Hao Pin Z would go 16, 31, 47 in the loss, 1,249 DPM, so 500 DPM less, for similar impact at 55%. So now you're looking at yourself and you're saying, oh, there was a diffy here. Here, the DPM's close. Here, it's not. 500 DPM different. So the top side and mid were much more impactful in team fights and in lane and just simply dealing damage than anyone's Legends players were. So obviously these series are not as compelling as maybe this one or this one, but everybody's got to play everybody, so that is what it is. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content, follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.